everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today we'll be talking about how to secure a venue for your exhibition. So the next step in the whole process, after you figured out your why and after you figured out if you're ready, right, is to secure the venue. That is gonna be the part where it's like it's coming to life, it is happening for real. And the main thing that you want to think about when you're securing a venue is location, where you want it to be. Generally, if you want it to be more centralized, if you want it to be in a particular neighborhood, um, or if you want certain like specs or features part of your exhibition, you might want to include that when you're looking for a venue. So those are like the foundational things. Then the next part is a lot of the times that deters people is the money, right? It's trying to find a venue that is not expensive, not too much going to cost you so much out of pocket, because you have to think about the other expenses about your exhibition. So, with that being said, there are two types of spaces that you want to look into. And another option that I will include later on as well, which would be a nonprofit space versus an actual space that you would have to pay for, right? So, a nonprofit space pretty much is a gallery that runs off of grants by the county or the government. They only cycle through grants and get like fund all their exhibitions through grant cycles. So generally you're going to be kind of waiting a little bit on their time necessarily, because at the end of the day the timing is really based upon when they get the grant, right? So a lot of exhibition spaces that are nonprofit, they are already applying for 2027 grants as we speak, right? Because they're trying to make sure that the following year that they have enough funding to continue operations, put on enough exhibitions that are coming up, and they include you in that grant process. That's pretty much what me and Steph did for Light and Love, working with Sovereign, which is a nonprofit space, beautiful space, moderate size exhibition, moderate size gallery space, as well as it just aligned with us in a sense of like morals, intentionality, all the things. They really were just a really amazing space to work with. And they are nonprofit space. So you want to look out for a lot of those type of spaces, because you won't really have to pay too much out of pocket. Everything is pretty much covered, which we cover in our expense video as well, what we had to pay out of pocket versus what we didn't have to pay out of pocket, which is very little, honestly. Then for spaces that you have to pay for, in the past, I have I have toured spaces that I was looking into and very much interested in, but in the end, it came down to money. For instance, there was a space that I was touring for a group exhibition that me and my friend were planning, and this space for 2 weeks was charging $10,000. Yeah. $10,000 for 2 weeks. And for the 1 week, it was going to be $2,000. Yeah, so we didn't have that money. So it wasn't like, as much as the space was beautiful and it was spacious and it had all the bells and whistles and you can do so much in it, you can experiment, you can do so much as an artist to convey the message. It was just way out of budget. Just way out of budget. Another space that we also viewed as well was initially they were working with us with $400. They said they would rent the space for $400, and then it increased to $2,000. I don't know how we got from 400 to 2,000, but that's what happened. Nonetheless, we didn't go with this, and I think that's also another thing to think about is, do you gel with the gallery owner? Ethics wise, do you gel with the gallery owner? There's a lot of things to think about when you're going into these spaces. Do they believe in your work equally as well? Are they taking you for advantage? Are they taking advantage of you in certain aspects? And in that aspect, it kind of felt a little murky, right? But nonetheless, no hard feelings. We move on and we find the right space for us. Then to the flip side, I want to talk about relationships. Relationships also help with securing these spaces, right? Sovereign was through a relationship. Another space that I used for the last group exhibition that I planned with my friend was also through a relationship. Granted, it was only for a week and a half, but they fit us in through their grant cycle and covered it completely for us. So we didn't have to take care of too much, honestly. Um, the first group exhibition I ever planned as well was covered, and that was through a connection my friend also had with the gallery owner. Well, through another photographer who was friends with the gallery owner who advocated for us, which was really amazing. And with that situation, what they did in this situation, what he did, the gallery owner, he made a deal with us that if everyone paid, he was a gallery owner slash framing shop as well. Everyone paid that was participating in the exhibition paid about 200, well, I think it was 150. I think it was 150 if numbers are correct. I'm going to put the right numbers up here. It was 150. Everybody had to pay 150, and it would include matting and framing, and that would cover the entire cost of the space. Mind you, we had about 20 exhibiting artists. Um and that covered the space and everything. So it really worked out in our favor because we didn't have to go through too much. We didn't have to worry too much because we covered the space, and the percentage that the owner of the gallery was giving us was really lovely as well. So, just to cover all of our bases, nonprofit versus a paid space can be, there's pros and cons, right? The pros of a paid space, of course, you get it on your own terms, you get it on the date that you want, it works with your schedule. But the cons are you have to come out of pocket. And on top of that, you pretty much actually in that position, you wouldn't have to really worry too much, depending on the gallery, about splitting the percentage cost of sales because you're paying for it. Versus with a nonprofit space, you would be talking about splitting the percentage sales. We don't do 50-50 around here. Um, but if there is an opportunity to do like 60-40, that's what I've come across. Um, and you get the space covered. That is probably the best option for artists, independent artists that are looking to run their first exhibition. Lastly, open calls are also another option. That is also an option to pretty much a nonprofit route as well, or a regular gallery space as well that charges and doesn't run through the nonprofit sector of things. Me and Steph have applied to all of the open calls that you can think of, and it didn't work out. But however, um, obviously Sovereign worked out. We were looking to take this on the road, so that's why the open calls came into play. But open calls are an option, and definitely you should look into, because who knows, you could definitely get into an open call and they cover it. They give you pretty much a limit, sometimes 20,000, 10,000 to pretty much put on your own exhibition, or it's a certain amount of time. It really depends on the open call, it really does. So those are the options. I hope this was very helpful about securing your own venue and how to do so. I would harp on make make those relationships, go to all the networking events, talk to galleries, talk to friends who know galleries, talk to people that have had exhibitions in your desired spaces, just to get an idea of what they may be paying or not paying, right? And how do they make the connection? Can they make the connection with you? Have those genuine connections, and that will propel you all the way. So feel free to leave any comments in the comment section. If you have any questions, let me know, and we'll see you in the next video.